What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Barrelcast, episode 6? 5? What episode are we on, guys?
5.
5? Okay, episode 5 was a professional start. This is what happens when I'm left to host. Yeah. If I seem a little bit out of sorts, it's because I went from playing the entirety of Bioshock Infinite to 8 hours later going and watched the latest G.I. Joe film. My brain wasn't quite ready for that transition, and now I'm a bit weird. Yep. And I'm joined this week by Dave.
Yeah, winter is coming.
And PacMan is here.
What's going on, everybody?
We're going to talk about video games, supposedly.
And also, winter is coming.
We're just gonna throw in Game of Thrones references as we go along.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well say that we're recording this, the night we're recording this, Game of Thrones is, about to air in a couple of hours?
Yeah, Game of Thrones returns, and The Walking Dead ends.
Yeah, it's a momentous day. And it's StarCraft's 15th birthday today as well.
It's a good day all round. Well, apart from the end of the... Well, I don't know if it's a bad thing that The Walking Dead is ending.
It's kind of perfect that it's ending right as Game of Thrones starts.
Right as the zombies from the White Walkers show up.
Yeah. But the Game of Thrones, I'm looking forward to having back. Walking Dead, that it's time for that to end.
Well, you know they're going to end on a bang.
Well, as long as it's more bangly than the rest of the episodes up to the end of this season. Anyway, this isn't the Flicks podcast, is it? Where am I? This is the Big Red Barrelcast.
This is BRB TV, the audio logs.
So, Bioshock Infinite came out this week.
Played it.
I think we've all played it. I've, as I said, played it to completion, so I'm going to let you guys take the lead on this because I don't want to spoil things unnecessarily, but I will say that's a really good game, guys.
It is.
Isn't it?
It's ridiculous how much detail is in that world. Like, I'm only at the very beginning of the game, but I just left playing Tomb Raider, which is all jungles and darkness and rain, to the opening of Bioshock Infinite, which once you get to the city is like, it's beautiful and everything's brightly lit, and there's all these different things that are, that's more than just painted up NPCs that are mindlessly walking around the city. I mean, it really does feel alive, and the whole America as religion backdrop is super cool.
Great aesthetic. Yeah, I love how you're wandering around the city, and wherever you turn, there's something interesting to look at or experience. It's really, really brilliant.
And the first time, I'm not going to give anything away, but the first time you look at your hand and you see that whole moment right at the beginning, I'm like, okay, I don't even really know what's going on, but this is already cool. Yeah,
I guess it doesn't spoil it to say there's a hell of a lot of foreshadowing, whether you realise it at the time or not, in that game. And a lot of it happens in the first hour.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, because I went from playing Tomb Raider and being really satisfied with that to playing Bioshock and being instantly re-engaged into a new property.
Yeah. And it's really nice in the Bioshock universe, or even in a shooter universe. You're not in the dark, dank, watery remains of Rapture anymore. This is a bright, flowing city. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. There are mechanical horses. People are singing. There's fireworks. It's a nice slice of something new. It's because it's not dark at all. Like it's the happiest place on earth where you just so happen to be killing people. It's like going to Disney World.
Yep.
But it stands out because it is like, as dark as the games we've had in the last couple of years are dark, this game is bright and vibrant, and then the production values are just through the roof.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things going on. Even if you're not seeing them directly, you can hear them in the distance as you're walking around, taking in the scenery, if you will. Like, you'll hear them, okay, it's time for the band to play, and then they'll start playing, and fireworks are going off.
We were saying before the podcast that there's a part in the very beginning of the game when a floating ship comes up and just starts, like Barbershop's quartet just starts playing, or singing rather. And I don't know about you guys, but I just stood there and watched the entire thing until they went away.
There's a whole bunch of stuff like that you can just stop and stare at, and it's good.
Yeah, and
it's brilliant.
There are the audio logs, which are from the previous Bioshock games, but there's also little like mini movies for you to watch, and of course you get like credit for them or whatever. I'm guessing there's an achievement at the end if you look at them all, or PSN trophy, whatever your preference.
Yes.
So there's that, and then there's lots of stuff to pick up, and there's new ways to kill people, and you still got your powers.
Yeah, the power. I mean, it works really good.
Yeah, it's a Bioshock game through and through.
It's a Bioshock game. They don't break any new ground with the combat or anything like that. It's still the same. Instead of a drill, I don't
Big old
really
wheelie spinny thing.
Yeah, there's a wheelie spinny thing that lets you claw people in the face. And I like the fact that it actually, you can see the damage it does as opposed to the drill from the previous ones where you just kind of went...
There are some brutal animations attached to that thing.
Oh yeah, there is some gore in this one. A lot of gore.
Yeah. So you guys presumably then have gotten as far as the raffle, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's literally, I just finished the raffle and I had to put it down.
How shocking was that part to you? Because I went a bit dark on... I don't mean that as a horrible pun. I went a bit dark on the sort of press for Bioshock Infinite. I wanted to avoid as much as I could so that when I go into it, it's just this lovely new world that I get to experience for the first time and enjoy as much as possible.
Uh-huh.
So I had no idea they were going to be hitting the undertones that they present during that raffle. So when that happened, I was genuinely shocked.
Yeah, I was like, what the oh.
What Kev's alluding to, for saying we're not going to spoil it, is, but this game talks about race and religion and women and all this other stuff, because you got to think that the time aesthetic isn't modern, right?
Right, it's 1912 ostensibly.
So yeah, and it's sort of brutal in the fact that it's not put up on a stage for you to look at. It's part of the world you're walking around in, and the first time you really notice it is during the raffle. Yeah, and then you had to make that choice.
Okay, here's something without spoiling anything. I'm not going to ask what it was. Did you make the choice on the left or the choice on the right?
Right.
On the right.
Okay.
And anyone who does go for the left, I personally want to meet so I can kick them in the nuts.
Wow, right in the scrot. When you reach this point in the game, if you haven't reached already, you know exactly what we're talking about. And
it's very early on, but I still don't want to spoil it, because for those people who are like me and don't really know what kind of direction this game goes in that respect, I think that is a really important moment that sort of sets the stage for the rest of the game.
But everyone, as you play it, you'll hit that moment we're talking about, and you go, "Oh, that's what they were talking about."
Like, yeah. At that moment, I was like, "Oh God, all these people that live in the city are awful people."
Yeah.
Like, you think maybe these are decent folks? No, not at all.
They've all drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, they got that typical swig of that crystal clear Kool-Aid.
And there are, like, the whole game, there are posters scattered around and videos and things that allude to all of this as well, this whole race business, and it's incredibly disturbing, and you end up, there's a certain righteousness that you play with after a while where you're like, you know what, I don't care, like, when you play a game like Uncharted where you're killing all these dudes and there's never really a good explanation as to why you're killing all these dudes. In this game, I feel like I'm doing the world a favour, because the people I'm murdering are f***ing horrible people.
You're doing God's work, Skater McGee.
They're not just violent towards me, they're not coming at me and I'm self-defending. They're actively horrible people, just their ethics are all bad.
And there's a bunch of weird little characters you meet along the way. Ones that you don't have to kill or anything. But you just, like, there's this, like, I don't know if they're, like, husband and wife or brother and sister, but you meet them a couple of times. They're doing weird things. It's like, they're like, so, heads or tails? Huh? Heads or tails?
Yes.
And you literally have to, like, flip this coin. And they're really weird.
They appear a lot. You guys aren't very far in, are you?
Well, I'm a little further than that, but that was the best thing I could think of. And they're just this weird brother, sister, husband, wife pair, and you just meet them, and they have these weird little interactions, but they're funny characters. I guess they're there to lighten it up a bit.
Keep your eye on them. Is all I can say.
Well, I don't trust anybody in this floating city.
Yeah,
they're all horrible people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all liked Bioshock Infinite, and we have it as much interest in that as the rest of the world had no interest in Army of Two.
Oh, Army of Two. You see, whereas Bioshock Infinite is this, I said on Twitter when I finished it, it feels like a really nice swan song for this generation of consoles to go out on. Army of Two came out and it was like, hey, we made a game. Yeah.
and there's rappers in it.
Apparently there's rappers in it, yes. I still don't know anything about this game. Apparently it's doing very mediocre on Metacritic. Everything I've heard about it says, it's not bad, but don't feel compelled to go and play it.
The thing is, like, most of us haven't really heard anything about it, because no one was really amping up the pre-release press. Now that it's out, I guarantee you it's that game that's sitting in a whole bunch of different websites review list, and people are like, who's going to take Army of Two? And it's getting passed down the line to whoever gets suckered into having to do the review.
Yeah. Well, the problem is they put it out the week after Gears of War comes out, and Gears of War is kind of the big deal when it comes to, third-person cover-based shooters.
Has that done well in sales? I don't really have any...
I don't know. I have played it. I've played a significant amount of it. The co-op, dude, it's still a fun co-op game.
Yeah, is it still very Gearsy?
Still, it's very Gears of War like. Yes, it's a fun co-op shooter. It's the people can fly. People, work it. People can fly. They actually tried a couple of different things than the previous Gears of War things. At least with the campaign, I haven't played the whatever their new horde mode type thing is.
Like what, Dave?
Well, they introduced like smoke and things like that into the campaign, where you have to fight your way.
Smoke.
Yes, it's like where you have to fight your way through a room or something, but there's a lot of smoke, so you can only see the bad guys when they're within a certain distance of you. So it adds a bit of difficulty and things like that to it.
Gears of War leading the charge on smoke-related combat.
You damn right. I'm just saying they tried to do something. It's not the greatest or anything like that, and it's if you like Gears, go get Gears of War Judgment.
Is it a full price title?
Yes. It's a full campaign.
I was left so cold on Gears of War 3. Gears of War 3 was supposed to be this epic end to the trilogy, and it was really middling for me. I got 3 the
last Gears just for horde mode. I didn't. The single player was kind of. It almost seemed kind of throwaway.
I just play it because you can co-op up with 3 other buddies, and you could just go kicking ass, chainsawing things, and since it's a prequel, they still have the lancers with the bayonets on them. Which I don't care who you are, dude. When you kill a grub with that, it's pretty freaking awesome.
No, that was super fun. I did like that about the third game. But they got rid of horde mode, didn't they?
Yeah, now it's more of a... I think it's like a versus horde mode. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't played that part yet. I just played the single player. But it's still a fun co-op game to play with 3 of your buddies. Running around chainsawing people. And I have to say, I've been playing on hardcore, which is the hardest setting you can play through the first time through, and then you can do insanity after you beat it on hardcore. Not that hard. Like, the times I've died, it's because, well, I would have died on a lower setting because I got stuck by a crossbow bolt or something like that, or something ran up to me while I was down and killed me, but it's not like I'm having trouble, like, getting through the levels or anything like that.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, at this point, if you're a Gears fan, you know how to play you some Gears.
You damn right. And the long shot. That is my jam. Like, give me the long shot. I'll headshot some mofos. I know. I'm not afraid. And I'll tell you this right now. I'm not going to touch the Gears multiplayer. I have never liked Gears multiplayer. It's always been awful, not just because of the server issues. It's just not very good.
Well, sure, but Horde was always the standout feature of Gears of War multiplayer.
Well, yeah, but they didn't introduce Horde till later.
Well, it was 2 it came in, didn't it? And 3 they perfected it because they made it sort of half tower defense as well with all of the extra traps you could buy.
Yeah, and actually the campaign is very horde mode-ish at a lot of times. Like, there's a lot of times it's like you walk into a room and then you literally have to fend off like a couple of waves of bad guys, and then there's because the spoiler alert.
Oh, I know that I hate.
Spoiler alert: the way the story goes is basically you're testifying because Baird and his crew are being
tried.
Well, I was going to use the military term, but I couldn't think of it.
Court-martialed.
That's the word, court-martialed. And literally, it's just telling the story. And as you go through, there's like these huge Gears of War symbols on the wall, and if you click on them, you get points, which I'm guessing go towards your multiplayer character or something, and or maybe your co-op character. And you get more points for accepting these little challenges that you get. It's like, okay, you're about to enter a room with a bunch of bad guys in it. Well, you click on this, now you can only use pistols or shotguns or something like that. Or there are scorchers attacking you as well as all the other stuff that was going to be in there. So that was kind of neat, but
at least there's some sort of weird rule bending that makes that a bit more interesting.
Yeah, again, it's people that can fly, so they're trying.
It's people that can fly.
Yeah.
People can fly.
Yeah. Sadly, though, at the point I'm at in the campaign, not enough Coltrane.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Like I've only heard him say a few things during, like there's a couple things where he's narrating and stuff like that, but like during the campaign, he's most of the time he's just saying, Coltrane takes what he wants. There's nothing.
You do love you some Coltrane.
Dude, I love me some Coltrane. I want to hear him run around going, "Woo! That's what I need."
All right, well, there's some games for the week. Dave says play Gears, and we all say play Bioshock. And I can't remember what the other game was, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that game doesn't matter. It's already been forgotten.
Moving on to this week's news. Apparently GameStop has had a bit of an issue. I don't really know anything about this, because they don't exist in my country, so I'm going to let you guys take the lead.
Well, GameStop for 2012 operating at a loss. First time ever.
Ever?
Dude, they're like the college bookstore. They're kind of like Game was for you guys.
Yes.
Like, basically, it's like, hey, I bought this brand new game this week. It came out on Tuesday. You take it back on Friday to trade it in. They'll give you $30 for it, which is, about half the price it was when it was new. And then they'll put it back on the shelf for $55.
So why do we think they're having a bit of an issue then? Are people buying new games more, or are people just not buying games? Or have they all switched to digital?
Well, you can go digital. And I would say also some of the online passes that EA likes to throw out, they're probably working as well. Because they make you pay, what, $15-$20 for those?
I think it's 10.
Is it 10 for the online pass? If you don't, if it's a 10, used game? Yeah, whatever. So that's an extra $10 on top of a game you just tried to save, $7 on.
They're big. The big problem is, used games. That whole space is gonna dry up. Digital distribution takes a lot in terms of games being sold in stores. But the other thing is, a lot of hardware manufacturers sell direct now, or if not direct, sell through Amazon. So you don't even need to go in to an EB Games or a GameStop now to buy the hardware or the software. You can buy it all from home and have it delivered to your door, or just get it online. So I guarantee you that for every quarter going forward, except for maybe a bump when the new systems come out, they're going to continue to show a loss on a slow downward slope until they're gone, because that's just the way the marketing's going to go. The market's going to go, rather.
We have a very small chain in the UK called CEX who deal exclusively in used stuff. They don't buy new games in. They literally exist just to take in trading games and put them back out on the shelf. They have no new games market, and they do really well as a result of that, because they don't have to spend the money on getting new stock in.
Well, GameStop does that to a point. Like, they might have 2 new copies of a game in stock, and if you go in for like a midnight launch, if you pre-order a game, they'll have it for you at the midnight launch, or like the morning the game comes out. If you don't pre-order it, you're not guaranteed a brand new copy. And actually, I've had moments where if you show up a little late to a midnight launch, you can walk in and they're already opening the boxes and taking the discs out of them and putting them in drawers. And it's like, I wanted to pay you for a new game, and you've already opened my game and taken this crap out of it. And also, there was that thing a while back where they were opening up game boxes and taking out online code or on live codes or brochures or something like that, like opening up the game boxes just to remove those and then putting them back on the shelf.
Yes, yep. I remember that. This is a situation that I can't really find much sympathy for anyone with, because it happens, as you said, in the UK a couple of years back with Game.
Dude, that was last year, man.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is how little I cared about it at the time, because I am in that ecosystem. I am the purchaser. I am the consumer that the publishers love, who buys everything new and generally goes straight through Amazon. It just gets delivered to my door. I don't worry about stores or anything like that. And Tim, I've had countless heated discussions with Tim about which is the better way to handle this, and he is very insistent that he wants to go to a shop and browse and pick up a game from a shop because there's some.
But doesn't he also complain that the nearest shop to him is too far away?
Yeah.
But the thing about the shop thing is, no matter how strongly he feels about that, the numbers just prove that his side is dying off. It just absolutely is. He's
got some sort of nostalgic feeling towards it, as best I can tell. I do not have that at all.
When I asked him about that once, he said that his postal, or I guess the postman, is not reliable, and like he will like leave his stuff like on the door.
Yes, he does enjoy blaming my company for that.
Yeah, and I think it was Dan from the UK podcast said he found one of his packages in the garbage one day.
Yeah, we have a nasty issue with our package delivery people in the UK at the moment, where they're getting better at it because there's a lot of people complaining, but they do tend to, if they don't get an answer at the door, they just leave it somewhere out of sight, and the nearest place is usually in a bin.
Yeah, see, that's anyway, but it's only a matter of time before all this, the traditional retail stores for this kind of content just go away.
You know who I blame for the downfall of GameStop? PlayStation Plus and all their free games.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation Plus is actually, like, I don't know if you were joking or not, but that's genuinely a reason that people will be buying less games with PS3s.
Yeah.
And I got to imagine going into PS4 as well. And Sony have already announced they're going to release day and date digital all of their games on the PS4. You got to consider Steam are bigger than ever.
Well, here's the thing. How long do you think PlayStation can keep giving away free games? I mean, once the PlayStation 4 launches, they're going to have to get rid of that.
I think they will do what they've done with the Vita, which is just sort of recycle their launch lineup at a slow pace for a little while they try and sell new games.
But I mean, the Vita still had, a year's worth of games before it went Plus? I mean, you can't. What are they going to give away for free in the first 4 months of the PlayStation 4's life cycle?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is they'll release launch titles, and then I imagine they'll do one launch title a month for PlayStation Plus to start off with. Maybe they'll involve some sort of backwards. I guess there won't be any backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't play PlayStation 3 games on your PlayStation 4.
It depends whether their streaming service is up and running by then, which I doubt.
Yeah, we don't know enough about how that whole system's gonna play out, but buying new is kind of like I just got Bioshock Infinite, Tomb Raider, and Crysis 3, and I got them all digital.
Yeah.
Given the preference, I will always buy digital, even if sometimes it would be $5, $10 cheaper to go using hard media. I'd still choose digital because I don't ever want to have to think about it again.
Do you know what happened to me is I got to the point where I'd moved house so many times with a game and DVD collection.
Hell yeah.
I was just sick of it. It's so much easier to move a hard drive than a massive box or two full of games and DVDs.
That's true.
And that's why I just decided Steam's the way to go. But anyway, yes, GameStop dying. Cool. So we've got an agenda that Pac-Man has sent me here, and he's got a thing in the list called hardware, which apparently is some sort of game that involves Relic staff. That makes me a bit more interested. What is this, Pac-Man?
I'm glad he read it before we started. Good job, host of hosts.
Hardware, which is I kind of just like that name just because it makes it kind of ambiguous, but the game's called Hardware, and it's made by the guys who made the Homeworld series.
Nice. That is a good sit. Well, Homeworld and Homeworld 2, not really much of a series, but yeah, really good.
If you were a space strategy player in the 90s, the Homeworld series, and the new studio is called Blackbird Interactive, but it's basically built by former Relic staff. And everything about the game sounds cool up to a point. So it's big sci-fi universe, mega corporations. There's an intergalactic gold rush on this mining planet, and you can control massive units and have these armies wage battles over resources of this planet in this sort of sci-fi space setting. And then they start talking about some of their plans for the game, and they call it the world's first planetary scale social strategy game.
That makes sense. They're a startup company. They're going to go with the sort of Facebook-esque
so
thing.
They talk about, it's a new IP, but then it has a mix of client and server requirements, and they're directing it at Facebook, iPhone, Android, and PC, and consoles maybe later on. And so I'm interested because it's made by the guys who made Homeworld, and some of the stuff about it sounds really cool, but every time I see social, I cringe a little until I see something worthy of interest.
How many people from Relic are behind this? Because they did get bought by Sega recently.
Well, I mean, with this game, I mean, Relic developers have actually scattered to the winds. You can find some in a lot of new startups, but the art director, one of the executive producers, another lead artist who worked on the original Homeworld series are involved.
Right.
So I mean, it could be really good, and
it's got pedigree at the very least.
Yeah, it's got pedigree, so we'll see what comes of it. And just because it's social doesn't mean it'll be crappy, but I always worry when I see social as the thing, and Facebook being listed before anything else.
Oh God, it's turned into one of those words that the second you say it, people just go, nope, I don't want to know.
I don't want to do Farmville.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, social is another buzzword, just like free to play with with the dashes has become. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, but. Let's hope it's good, and if it's not, then we can just throw it in the bucket as that game we point to prove our point when we're arguing with someone.
Sure thing. Now, regular listeners of BRB UK will know that every time I'm on there, I have some sort of story regarding the Wii U and my complaints towards the console.
Well, there's no SimCity hate this week, so we gotta,
Yeah, so we're gonna dig onto the Wii U. Although, we could talk about SimCity if you like.
No. And the thing is, I want Monster Hunter and Bayonetta and a couple games for the Wii U, but that's just not enough to cover up all the that's going wrong for the Wii U.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know how up-to-date you guys are on this news story, because it's written in our agenda as the Wii U won't have access to Unreal 4. That's not actually true. Mark Rain has since come back and said Unreal Engine 4 is designed to run on all platforms, including iPhones, just like Unreal Engine 3 was. Mm-hmm. So the Wii U can run Unreal Engine 4, but you would obviously have to code with those hardware requirements in mind. So a game that comes out on the new Xbox or new PS3, or new PS4 rather, would not also be portable to that console. But you can build things in Unreal 4 on it.
Well, they could do it. But,
yes.
But the reality is still that they're not gonna.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe people will, but
Xbox streamlined the process this generation by making it very PC based, the game coding. PlayStation had the problem, so now the Wii is having the problem. It's the pain in the ass to develop for now.
Well, of course it is. It's Nintendo. It's always been a pain in the ass to develop for those guys.
But you got to break down the rest of this story with the two engines.
Right. So Frostbite 3 is the other engine that they're saying won't be really using the Wii U, and that's to be expected. Frostbite 3 has been designed to be really bloody CPU heavy, and the Wii U does not have a decent CPU. I don't know what's inside it, but it is awful.
And it's a huge deal, because between the Unreal Engine 4, which could go Unreal Engine 4 and Frostbite 3, neither one of those engines looks like they're gonna make any appearance at all on the Wii U, and that they're gonna power pretty much, I'd say 70% of the AAA games we got coming out in the next 2 years.
Yeah, EA is trying to make Frostbite their like standard engine for everything.
Oh, they're straight up doing that. Yeah. I mean, the new Dragon Age is being made in Frostbite. Yeah,
I would say the only people who aren't under that it would be Crytek, because Crytek has their own engine. They're like, well, you don't need your
Yes, and CryEngine is very pretty.
Yeah, and they're between the three of them, I mean, that's a huge. I mean, that's the majority share of the market right there in terms of engines for big name video games. But I mean, just the news that the Wii U's doesn't have either of those engines, so there's no. Even though Mass Effect 3 came out for the Wii U, there will be no new Mass Effect on the Wii U. There will be no new Dragon Age on the Wii U. There will be no Battlefield on the Wii U. And then when you add it to the list of like the huge growing list of huge games that aren't coming to the Wii U, I mean, they're really doubling down on the we don't give a about third party support.
Yeah, and before someone decides to get onto a rush to the comments and say, "Oh, but Crytek aren't owned by EA," I know that. Okay.
But they are an EA partner, though.
They are published by EA for their Crysis games. Yes, they have a good relationship.
It's crazy. And then you got a couple of the studios that make their own proprietary engines, like the guys who make Witcher. The next Witcher, again, not going to be on the Wii U.
Oh, hell no. Those guys...
Honestly, with the way the Wii U is selling, would it really make a sense to release Battlefield or anything like that? Or even... Hold on, let me look at this list. GTA 5, would it make sense to put that on the Wii U? To sit there and take the time and make sure that it works and all that? Because nobody's buying the Wii U, which means nobody's going to buy your game on it.
I've said this 1,000 times.
Say it 1,001 times.
You should not have bought a Wii U if you want to play third-party titles. It's as simple as that. You're going for Nintendo exclusives. That's why you buy that system.
But this time around, they don't have any, like they're leaning even harder on their first-party titles this time than they did last time, which seems to be showing in their sales and everything else. That's crazy because it looks like the third-party support they had at launch, that almost looks like it was a one-time thing.
Well, you mean the third-party support, we're going to call that Ubisoft?
Yeah, I mean, and that was basically a one-time thing. And moving forward, I mean, damn. I mean, it's really, really all about Mario and Zelda and Metroid. Yeah.
So E3 is going to be interesting because that's all they can announce.
I will be really interested to see what they have to show at E3.
E3 is going to be them just begging us on getting on stage and just crying and being like, "Please, I gotta feed my family."
Go buy a DS.
Well, the DS the 3DS is still a sick little piece of kit, and it's got a good library.
It's slowing down though, because everybody it's made the money it needed to become a healthy product, and sell it in the long run, make them a profit. So, they recoup that, but I don't think the Wii U is going to come back. Like that thing was making money from almost day one. It was making money.
Yeah.
What, the 3DS?
The DS into the 3DS.
Well, the 3DS didn't start picking up until the price dropped.
Yeah,
well, that's because it was like, okay, so hey, we have this new handheld. It's just like the old handheld, except with 3D.
Well, I mean, the price drop was followed, in a couple months later by a good number of games coming up for the system, and that hasn't stopped. Like the 3DS support is pretty good.
Yeah, it really is.
But I mean, and the other thing is, like, I don't hate the Wii U. I
bought one. I don't want to hate it.
Yeah, I mean, like good games on a system, I'll play. I don't really care what the system is, but it's when you talk about an industry that relies on, maybe at the most 6 or 7 big engines to run the majority of their titles, and to hear that the big 3 aren't going to go on your system at all, like that's pretty big deal.
And I am going to be working on the Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate Wii U Edition review this week, so I will come back next week with some thoughts about that. I've been really busy this last week, so I haven't actually had a chance to dig into it yet, and I didn't intend to play Bioshock Infinite last night to completion, but apparently I didn't stand up for 12 hours. Yeah, that happened.
Did you stand up and go, "Oh, pins and needles," and then fall over?
God damn, I didn't even know I had an arse when I stood up. It's just disappeared. Anyway, moving on. The Battlefield 4 trailer came out. What did you guys think of that? That looks pretty.
It does look pretty.
It did look good, but I really wanted a big blowout multiplayer trailer where they showed me what the new vehicles are and answer whether or not we're getting submarines and boats and
I don't want that. I just want fully destructible environments, because we're talking about the power. I want the ability to reduce most of the buildings in an area to rubble.
Well, I expect they're gotten a lot better, because it is their new engine.
I need the scale of Battlefield 3 taken a notch upwards, so that we've got like actual pilotable boats, carriers and whatnot. That would be great. But also the destructibility of Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Yeah. And if there's an aircraft carrier, it needs to be sinkable.
Yes.
Also dude.
Because there are some levels of Battlefield 3 where I've actually had moments where I'm just getting pissed off because the enemy they have an aircraft carrier, and they will sit on the aircraft carrier and just fire into land, and there's not much you can do about it from the land.
Or at the very least, make it like maybe have a single carrier that you can capture and use as a mobile spawn point as well as its weapons, so that each team can like just use that as a target for the map, as well as the objectives on the mainland. Have that boat as a sort of secondary target, so that you can run in, take control. Now you've got a spawn point with a load of super weapons, and then maybe the other team try and take it back. That'd be great.
And I need there to be more weapons in the vehicles. Like when I'm in my jet. Modern jets have more than one type of rocket and a machine gun. You know what I mean? Like I want, you know, fire and forget missiles. I want friend or foe, heat seekers, the whole deal.
I want bombs. That was the one thing none of the jets had was bombs. The closest thing they had to it was basically those like sort of like 80 millimeter rockets, like that you would just fire into the ground, which were very effective. But there were no bombs, and you know what? Jets have bombs. I mean, Battlefield 1942 and all the planes and stuff in that had bombs. Why can't I have bombs on my jets?
Yeah,
in Battlefield 3?
I never liked the rockets in the jets. It felt too helicoptery. I'm like, I don't want to just blindly fire rockets. Like I want some meat. And yeah, you also got the. Was it the laser guided missile?
Yeah, but that was such a bitch to shoot because like you had to downward fire it and fly in a straight line.
You have to get really good at being a pilot to take advantage of all that stuff. But I mean, there's all sorts of extras that they could throw in that would be sick. And who doesn't like Battlefield? Battlefield's become the new game that we can all like because hating Call of Duty is so cool now.
Hey, the multiplayer's great in Battlefield. I've always loved it.
It's punishing though. I mean, it's almost like those other games. If you take a couple weeks off from playing Battlefield and you come back, you die a lot.
Oh yeah, this is why I don't play Battlefield 3 anymore, because I didn't play it for about 3 months, and then I tried, and yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, but like I said, anyway. I want destructible buildings. It's like, hey, there's a dickhead over there sniping us from that building. I want that building gone. And then,
man, I could quite easily go back in and just start playing Bad Company 2 again now, because that was an incredible aspect of that game.
It was, and that's what I want. I want all walls. You know, if you can hide behind it, I want to be able to destroy it.
I want to be able to find a quad bike, pack it full of C4, jump on, drive it through a building wall into a place where there are a bunch of snipers hanging out, jump off, jump out the nearest window, and then detonate the thing so the floor explodes underneath them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is Battlefield to me now. They spoiled me with Bad Company 2, and in the single player, where that was actually a really good campaign, and then Battlefield 3 came out and was just underwhelming across all boards. The scale was great, but
the story, the single player was
like the lack of destructibility is just the biggest thing for me, because like, okay, you can destroy parts of some buildings, but there's some missions it's like, well, the building's not even built yet. I should be able to take it down with this M1 tank.
Yeah,
that's what I want. We're talking about power. I want the power to destroy things. That's what I want.
We all want that power.
Yes,
to destroy things.
And, you can give me different levels of building. Like, you can have hardened shelters that have to be hit several times before they're destroyed, or hit with a specific thing. I'm totally down for that. It's like, oh, you got to unlock the bunker buster before you that up. Yes, I'll do that, because then that'll allow me to destroy that bunker, which is allowing that dude to chew me up as I run up the beach. I'm totally for that.
Well, I hope you guys liked our Battlefield cast anyway, because that lasted a while. Right, so the issue this week that we're going to be discussing is something that I'm frankly not qualified to talk about, because I was very guilty of it my entire childhood. So it's video game retailers selling games to underage people. Whose responsibility is it? You're on the side. You're on the side that it's the parents. Are we all basically saying it's up to the parents?
Totally up to the parents.
The reason I put it in the agenda is the Federal Trade Commission in the U.S. did secret shoppers. So they basically sent kids in without parents and got them to buy different products. They got them to buy rated R movies. They got them to buy explicit music, and they got them to try to buy violent video games. So as kids were 13 to 16, all of them without an adult. And 30% of the kids were able to buy adult DVDs and movie tickets. 47% of them were able to buy explicit CDs, but only 13% of the kids were able to buy M-rated video games, making video game retailers the Federal Trade Commission rated them with the highest level of compliance among the industries. Like by a huge margin. Like a huge friggin' margin.
This is very different in the States, apparently, because in the UK we have certification boards for movies that you do have to ask for ID for. But with video games, it's very much a suggested age range. There's no actual legal requirement to stop you selling.
We also have a bunch of horrible parents here who will just like give their kids money to buy whatever they want. Oh, you want that game, Timmy? Here's some money. Go pick it up.
Oh, sure. I'm not denying that the onus is absolutely on the parents.
It's the same here. I mean, the ESRB, which is the rating system for content in North America, there's no law behind that. The stores themselves are. It just shows that this video games have taken a lot of heat, especially in the States, the last couple of years, and the industry itself took a stand and really made it a priority to make that change, and it shows. Like 13% is a pretty good number compared to the other two mediums.
Yeah, but but that 13% doesn't change the fact that if 9-year-old Timmy's like, Mom, I want Grand Theft Auto, Mom's going to buy it for him.
Well, some of that is, especially the kids, the parents who are raising teenagers right now, and the parents who are just a little bit older, a lot of them don't research what they buy. They don't really pay attention, because the reality is a 12-year-old can't buy Grand Theft Auto. He can't make $60. So either someone went in and bought it for him, or bought it with, just gave him $60 and he found a way to get it. But the big shift is now, like you guys, like people my age, like in their early 30s. We've got kids now, so
you do.
Well,
none of us do.
I had a kid call me once and call me Dad. I picked up my cell phone. Hey, Dad. No. No. Are you? Well, is my dad there? No, he's not. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's my cell phone.
Ridiculous. But like I have a godson, and I made him lunch and helped him with his homework, and done all the stuff that you probably would do if you had a biological son. And I'm really hyper conscious about what I buy him. Like I've bought him mostly Wii stuff. It was saying on Twitter, I think the most violent thing I ever bought him was Monster Hunter, and even that was prefaced by you can play this game, but you need to understand you're not allowed to hurt, or it's not okay to hurt animals in the real world, and had that talk with them and stuff. But the thing is now, like we've got, like, our gamer friends have kids. Like a lot of the people I game with have kids now, and they can talk to other parents who aren't gamers. Because when you're a gamer and you're a parent, you have a little more insight into how this whole thing goes. But if you're a parent and you're not a gamer, a lot of them are really misinformed and don't really pay attention to what's getting into their kids' hands. Like if it would be really easy for one of my gamer parent friends to talk to someone else and be like, listen, maybe GTA isn't the best thing for your 10-year-old. Maybe Little Big Planet is. And yeah, maybe the kid might resist at first, but kids will play whatever's fun that they have access to. So if you put a fun game in front of them, even if he bitches the first day it's there, he's gonna play that thing. And if it's good and it's fun, he'll continue playing it, and he'll quickly forget about whatever else. But you can't just... gamers can't just talk. We can't do this podcast and just talk to other gamers and be like, "Yeah, I wish people would do better."
When I was a kid, a game didn't have to be fun for me to play the shit out of it.
You know what? I think kids today are just wussies. That's what I think. I think they're wusses. Celebrity. It goes the same for modern celebrities. Billy Idol never went to rehab, and he's doing just fine. He wasn't wrecking his car every week. He was smart about his cocaine habit, even though anytime you saw him in the 80s, he had a big ring of white stuff around his face. He never had that problem. And you know what? When I was 8 years old, I played Doom and Wolfenstein. What? You know what? Never shot up my school. I was not a violent kid. I had good grades. And you know what? You kids today, it's like, oh, I play violent video games. I'm going to be in whatever. The violent video games are not the problem. It's bad parenting. It's like you didn't teach your kid right from wrong, so now your kid's going out there and he's doing wrong, and then all of a sudden it's a game's fault. F you and your bad parenting.
But it's not about the games being violent. It's just about common sense. Like a 9-year-old shouldn't be playing Grand Theft Auto because 9-year-olds shouldn't be, even though you could see it, or they might see it at your friend's house. That's kind of like a cop-out argument. It's like, oh, he'll just play it at his friend's house or something. Like, at a certain point, you just need to take responsibility. But since we're adults now, we can actually influence other adults who have kids so that they actually understand, what you're buying, how to look things, like just the simple fact that the majority of the parents I know who are friends of mine who are parents or my parents, most of the time they don't actually look up stuff before they buy it. Whereas a simple Google search can basically give you all the information you need about just about anything.
Ain't nobody got time for Google.
It's pretty crazy.
Ultimately, listen, parents, you know what kind of kid you've got. You know if he's a crazy little bastard. Or she.
So it's time for you to go in that room. If they're acting up, it's time to beat that ass.
But look, on a serious note, my dad, like, when I was growing up, my parents knew that I was quite a down-to-earth kid. So my dad basically sat me down and made me watch really violent films. And when I was playing video games, I was playing, like, Duke Nukem 3D when that came out, and I was still quite young. It never really affected me that much because I understood it was all video games.
Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of parents are allowing their media to be the guide for their kids on its own. Whereas, like, when I was a kid, like, I got to play Mortal Kombat, and I went to see Terminator 2 in the theater when I was a kid, and see Predator and Aliens and all that stuff. But my parents, like, are the kind of parents who would be like, you can do this thing, but I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to break this thing down before you can do it. And that's all it really took. That's all it really took. But now, I mean, the whole kids getting raised by what they watch is actually happening. And at a certain point, the number one influence on your kid before anything else is your parents. Like, if you're like, it's possible that people have genetic problems or innate problems that have nothing to do with anything, but just talking averages, if you see a up kid, he probably has up parents.
That is a pretty sweeping statement, but I kind of agree, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but you just talk about general humanity. If you see a really, really troubled child, there's a pretty good likelihood there was probably a really troubled household that kid's from. And it doesn't take a lot to change buyer habits or to inform the public. Like, people are just waiting to jump on the next bandwagon or to think that they know something new. So the more the adult gamers out there spread their knowledge with non-gamer parents or people who buy stuff for kids, things would be so much better.
And also, speeding ticket equality. We need it.
Speeding ticket equality.
Or just stop speeding, Dave.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But at least now we have a stat that we can take. When there all these anti-video game news stories, the Federal Trade Commission isn't a joke.
But 911 is.
That depends which rap song you're listening to. But I mean, like, now you can say, like, the reality is you can prove with, like, actual federal stats saying, like, our industry actually does more to protect kids from seeing violent video games than all the other industries do. By a big ass margin, so it takes a lot of the weight out of it. So, we've somehow accepted movies, but video games are the new de jour evil.
Yep. I think the thing to take away from this is, listen, parents, take your kid to a strip club and hurt someone, and then if they can handle that, let them play video games. It's all good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yep. That was your 15 minutes of utter rhetoric being spewed out onto a podcast feed.
Do better, people.
Yeah.
Do better.
As always, the Burbcast message is, hey, be a better person. That's what we're all here for, right?
How hard is it to just expect a basic level of common sense to pervade amongst all my peers? That's not asking. It's just, I'm not asking them to be geniuses.
Apparently, it's harder than moving off the topic, eh, Pac-Man?
Yeah.
If you can't tell, Kev wrapped it up, and then
Bloody Nora.
We're going back. We're going back.
Jesus of Nazareth.
We're going back to the island.
Wow, you broke out the Nazareth? Damn.
Right, we're going to do some shout-outs and close this out before Pac-Man hits us up with some more info bombs. So Dave's got something to say.
Yeah, from the forums, we'd like to thank Spiky Chris, Marauder, and Scotto Bear. I know there were more people.
Yeah, but we've already thanked the other people on the list twice in 2 different episodes that we recorded back to back.
You hear that? Pac-Man said F you guys, so send him some hate.
You know who you are.
Well, you
thanks.
get your shout-outs, but just you're not going to get them back-to-back episodes.
Well, now they're not going to come back. You've you've outcast all of our listeners, Pac-Man.
I don't know. I'm sure they'll come
But
back.
go to the forums. We'll leave you a shout out if Pac-Man deems it okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, I love Bilbo T. Baggins, but he's gotten a shout out on every show so far.
I just want everyone to know that Dave and I still like you.
Yeah, we love you. Thanks for stopping by. Stop by again, and then maybe Pac-Man will let us shout you out.
Come onto the forums and shout at Pac-Man for not giving you a shout out.
You know what? They're going to do that now.
Yeah, hashtag PMPBWTF.
Alright, on the iTunes, in the UK, Tardy Moments, and Australia, Oz Fatboy have they've both left us reviews, and we like that. So please, guys, head on over to iTunes and give us a review, because we need it.
We do. We have really low self-esteem, and we have to know that you like us.
We want to know that we're good. Also, we've dropped quite a lot in the UK charts at the very least, I know, and that's sad, because now we're edging closer and closer to BRB UK, and I want to make sure that we're always higher than them.
Yes.
Just because it's fun.
Gotta rub it in their posh faces.
Absolutely.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Dave_BRB, at Krelith, Krelith, and at PacManPolarBear. And like Kev said, hit us up on iTunes. I don't know if we can drop reviews on Android yet.
No, I don't think you can send reviews through that. But if you don't use the iTunes, you just use the app. Go to the website. Leave us some stuff on there. Or
we've got a website.
Yeah, we've got one of those websites. Go to the post. Drop some knowledge.
Yeah, go to and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to BRB TV on YouTube, and always hit up BigRedBarrel.com.
Yeah. Especially if you like Monster Hunter. That's probably two of you. Because I'll have a review coming up soon.
You're lucky, because Wii U version is supposed to be the best version. So
it's the only version.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
Okay, never mind.
There's a 3DS version.
Oh, nobody got time for that either.
That one got reviewed first on BRB.
Also, I just want to make a mention. I think it was 2 nights ago. There was a little shindig in London in the new loading bar there.
Yes, there was.
Where Tim set up a little shindig to do lots of board games in this place. It's a gaming focused bar, and Tim decided to get involved with it and set up a board game night, and apparently it went really well. So they're planning on doing it again. So keep an eye on the forums and anything. Any message from Tim for when the next one of that's going to be.
Games.
Yeah, I'm all jealous. I think we need to Dan needs to use some of his doctor money and fly us across the pond, Pac-Man, so we can all go
to play board games
in London.
Oh, in London. Okay, now I'm sold.
Everyone loves London except people who live there.
Well, we're just visiting.
Then you'll love it. It's great. They got subways.
They call them tubes.
Rain. Lots of rain.
They've got rain. Oh, God, do they have rain. It's still really cold over here. I want some sunshine.
You want sunshine? Then you shouldn't live in England.
Yeah, that's... Why am I still here? Alright, well, we're going to close it out there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's show.
And there's bonus content this week, so grab the app and you can hear us talk about something really cool.
There is.
In the bonus.
I don't know if we've ever mentioned what the name of the app is. We always just refer to it very, very nebulously as the app.
The Big Red Barrel podcast app.
The Big Red Barrel podcast app. So yeah, go and grab that on iTunes. It is, how much is it, Dave?
$2.99 American. I don't know what that is in quid.
I think that works out to £1.99 English pennies, roughly.
But it's good for as long as we keep putting out content.
And we do like our bonus content. If you've listened to our last few episodes worth of bonus content, you'll know that it's not necessarily the same as the podcast. We go off on one.
Yeah, Kev gets really racist. He goes all Bioshock Infinite on it.
Yeah, he went with the left option. Just saying.
I'm just saying, you put a baseball in my hand, son. Something's got to go.
Racist.
Alright, we're going to leave it there. That is, on that note, I'm out.
Yep, the Burbcast is over once again.
Later.
Catch you all on the flip side.
welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.